Right, gather round folks, it's that time again, Easter. And before you start thinking about chocolate eggs and bunnies hopping about, let's take a gander at England's historic Easter celebrations. British Easter's got history proper old school like. We're talking centuries of stories, traditions, and a bit of British oddness thrown in. Now, Easter, at its core, celebrates the resurrection of Jesus. No surprise there. But did you know that this date's been marked by Christians for nearly 2,000 years? Yep, from the first followers in Jerusalem, it was a time to gather, reflect, and remember Jesus coming back from the dead. A proper miracle. Early Christians celebrated it on a different day each year, based on the phases of the moon, like a kind of spiritual moon dance. The Brits, of course, didn't let that slip by. We gave it our own twist, didn't we? Easter became a part of everyday life in Britain, especially after the Anglo-Saxons. Come Sunday, families across the country would rise early, as the church bells rang out in the distance, and they'd head to church for the big service. But here's the thing, Easter isn't just about going to church, oh no, it's about feasting, and I mean feasting like the king is about to show up. Although this year the focus of the king, head of the Church of England, was on Ramadan. Maybe he will be box clever, and we can get him next year. That is why it is more important than ever that we give King Charles and ourselves, and everyone else too, a friendly reminder of the one faith that defined the culture of the UK. And it cannot be underestimated the effect of Christianity on the evolution of beliefs that greatly benefited the world as a whole. Charity, humility, piety, hard work, goodness, kindness, discipline, faith. Excuse me for going off on a tangent, mate, but Christian values, when applied, leads to peaceful, prosperous, creative environments for the human spirit to grow. I kinda like that. There is a reason why the music the world listens to emerged from the UK. Beatles, Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, 32/20ths. We all were bred in a country without fear, fed on a diet of Christian values. So Easter means something. Old Blimey would not be Old Blimey without Easter. Back to our rockin' history, Easter eggs go back donkey's years. Edward I bought 450 eggs to paint and decorate in 1290 to celebrate Easter by way of a jolly Easter egg roll, not hunt. Egg roll is not just a Chinese burrito. Early English Easter celebrations involved rolling hard-boiled eggs down a hill. Whoever's egg went the furthest won the contest. Sounds absolutely brill, and no doubt ended in egg salad sandwiches. And guess what? Preston and Ulverston still follow the old tradition of egg rolling. Egg rolling used to be huge. Thousands of eggs were rolled in every direction. Children were everywhere laughing and capering in infantile pleasure. Elders were looking on with a more staid and demure, but not less hearty enjoyment, and altogether the scene was one of the strangest and yet most thoroughly happy and enjoyable that I have seen for years. Oh my giddy aunt, sounds like that is my new favourite holiday activity. Bring back Easter egg rolling. After a flower-filled church service where the ladies wore their Easter bonnets, people started tucking into lamb dinners, hot cross buns, egg rolling, and celebrated with lots of romance, mostly because no sex was permitted during Lent. Believe me, both Catholics and Protestants came together during Easter, and that is abundantly clear. Please excuse the bun pun. Speaking of buns, let's talk about the legend of the hot cross bun. Now we all know it's sticky, spiced, with that cross on top. First mentioned back in the 1700s, these buns were baked in honor of Good Friday. The cross was a religious symbol, but it wasn't just about religion. People believed that these buns brought good luck and would ward off evil spirits. Folk even hung them in kitchens to keep their homes safe, like an edible talisman. People love them so much that they are not just for Easter anymore. You can pick one up at the local BP station on the motorway. Can't get more British than that, eh? Now you can't talk about Easter without mentioning the eggs. And no, I'm not talking about the Cadbury ones, although I won't argue if you're having 1 or 5. You see, back in the day, medieval Brits would give each other eggs as gifts, often painted or dyed in bright colours. In fact, the Pope once gave King Henry VIII an egg in a silver case. But it wasn't just about the gift of eggs. The church used to ban eggs during Lent, so come Easter, it was like a massive egg party. What do you think would happen if the church tried that now? Chaos. Absolute chaos. And by the 17th century, Easter egg hunts became a thing. Not just a fun game for the kiddies, but also a good excuse for adults to sneak a bit of chocolate on the sly. And by the 17th century, Easter egg hunts became a thing. Not just a fun game for the kiddies, but also a good excuse for adults to sneak a bit of chocolate on the sly. I mean, come on, who doesn't love a bit of chocolate, especially when it's hidden in the garden? But it was Hanoverians that really brought Easter egg hunts to a new level, and we have Queen Victoria to thank for that tradition, becoming an indelible part of English traditions. Now let's talk about Easter Monday, that extra day off after all the Sunday madness, a proper bonus for all the hard-working Brits. But did you know that Easter Monday didn't always exist? It was only officially made a public holiday in 1871, after the Bank Holidays Act was passed. Before that, people might have had a day off, but there wasn't any legal guarantee. I reckon someone had a word with Parliament and got it sorted. In the old days, Easter Monday was for a good old-fashioned day out. Walking, picnics, and a bit of football. That's soccer, if you're not from round here. Not just a day of sitting on the sofa watching telly, no. Ancient Easter Monday rituals still exist today. Like the lads of two Leicestershire villages hold an annual scramble for pieces of pie on Easter Monday since the late 1700s. This is followed by a bottle kicking, which is another mass football game. The bottles, small wooden kegs, are blessed in church in the morning before being wrestled over all day. I prefer the scramble for pie, preferably raspberry or blueberry, or apple, or blackberry, or gooseberry. I miss my garden. That sounds absolutely brill. Now I love that Easter's got regional flavours. Over in Yorkshire they've got their Easter parades. It's all about donning your finest and marching through the streets with your best bonnet. Meanwhile, down in the West Country they've got cheese rolling. And I'm not talking about an egg rolling contest. Oh no, they literally roll huge wheels of cheese down a hill and folk chase them. Now you might be thinking, well that's all well and good, but what's Easter got to do with today? And the answer is, quite a lot actually. Easter might have been steeped in religion and tradition, but now it's also about community. Whether you're attending church or just using it as an excuse to eat too much chocolate, Easter's a time for reflection, for coming together, and remembering how our shared history has shaped us. The key takeaway? Easter is still a day for celebration, for food, for family, and, most importantly, for remembering. It's about resurrection, not just of Jesus, but of tradition, culture, and even community values. So here's to Easter, folks, to the eggs, the buns, the lamb, and the silly traditions that make us who we are. And remember, as we gather with loved ones, it's not just about chocolate or bunnies. Though they are lovely, don't get me wrong, it's about something bigger. So go on, share the love, raise a glass or a hot cross bun, and be thankful for the traditions that make us well British. Happy Easter, everyone!